Hi everybody, this is my PD presentation for LEDU516, and we will be talking about co-teaching strategies and effective collaboration. And I'm Ethan Cetton, just so you guys know. I'm a graduate student here at Houghton University, and I'm really excited to talk about some of the research that I've done and the data I've found just on some effective strategies regarding co-teaching and some collaboration within. So just to give an analysis of what's going to take part in this presentation, we will be discussing the co-teaching strategies. We're going to lay out some co-teaching models, which is important to discuss. And we will be talking about effective collaboration strategies and discussions. So how can co-teachers communicate effectively to create an environment that is beneficial for students and also beneficial for the teachers within it. And most importantly, we have to define what is co-teaching, because we can't do an entire presentation without knowing exactly what co-teaching is and what we're going to be discussing. So to start us out, based on research, co-teaching is a collaborative teaching approach where two or more teachers work together to plan, instruct, and assess students in the same classroom. This model often involves general education and special education teachers working together to meet the diverse needs of all students. It provides opportunities for differentiated instruction, small group support, and increased student engagement. So if you think back on, your experience in classrooms, you might have seen multiple teachers in the classroom teaching in different settings and in different time periods and bouncing ideas off of each other. And this could be an example of a co-teaching model. And we'll talk more about what exactly a co-teaching model looks like moving forward. So this is a time for us to pause and think during the video. So you can pause the video if you need to. Think back, as I said before, to your learning experience, or maybe even teaching experience if you've had experience within the field. Have you witnessed a co-teaching model before? I know I personally have been a part of a co-teaching model during my practicum teaching and student teaching at Fillmore Central School District, and I've experienced a couple different co-teaching models growing up in middle and high school in general education classrooms. To discuss about what exactly a co-teaching model looks like, we have a few examples that you might have seen before. The first example is one teach, one observe. Now this model is going to be a singular teacher teaching in front of the class, and then another teacher is in the back maybe taking data on the students, not really presenting their voice, but they are observing the students' behaviors and they are recording data. Another example would be one teach, one assist. So a teacher is at the front of the room and they're presenting the lesson, and maybe that other teacher is hovering around the students and helping them out with the small details on their papers or maybe with their notes. Station teaching, which we've seen a lot at Fillmore Central School District, which they implement, is teachers at their separate stations, and the students are divided into groups, and they are at what we call learning centers. And so the students rotate from center to center and get individualized attention from different teachers. And team teaching, which we often see in a coaching model on coaching collegiate and high school teams. You have multiple coaches and they are bouncing ideas off of each other and presenting their ideas at the same time. So now we could talk about some co-teaching strategies to build success. Now when I talk about strategies, I'm meaning some things that co-teachers can implement in their classroom structure and outside their classroom structure to build a healthy relationship with their co-teachers and also to build a healthy environment with their students. So the first one is understanding roles and responsibilities. Now, when a teacher is in the classroom and they don't understand what they're doing or why they're doing a certain assignment or why they're doing a certain teaching model, that's not going to be the most beneficial for the students because both parties are not getting the most out of their learning as they can. So when both teachers are on the same page, understanding their roles and responsibilities for the given day and their roles and responsibilities for the entirety of the school year and their mission in the classroom, it's going to help the students' learning experience go better. Being flexible. Now, this is something that I personally learned during my co-teaching model that I did in practicum in student teaching. Sometimes the lesson plans don't go exactly how you're expecting in the co-teaching model. So you have to learn to be flexible and adapt and overcome. I'll just add to that. So having the flexibility to work around lesson plans to give a good learning experience is essential for a co-teaching model. Another strategy that we have to talk about is building respect for our fellow co-teachers. If we are having a co-teaching model and you don't have the respect for the other co-teacher, the students aren't going to have the respect for them either, or the respect for you when they see how you treat that co-teacher. Building respect is important for having a healthy relationship with your co-teacher, and it's also important for giving the best learning experience for the students. And the one that we're going to talk about here upcoming, the big one, communication. Communicating with your co-teacher has to happen in order to have a successful environment. So here we go. We're going to talk about effective collaborative methods and how to communicate with our co-teacher. The first thing, sharing and communicating classroom goals is important for co-teachers to talk about. If they have two different goals or even numerous different goals, then the learning direction for the students is going to go awry. And you do not want that in a co-teaching model. You want to be on the same page with your students' goals and expectations. Discussing planning and idea brainstorming is something that is critical for coming up with lesson plans and coming up with the goals that we talked about earlier. So when teachers discuss their plans together so there's not numerous plans, this will help also guide the learning experience. Communicating in a positive manner for the benefit of each other and students. I have seen in my learning experience during high school, I remember I saw two co-teachers in our large class. I went to a big high school, and they constantly bickered with each other and talked on top of each other. And it really rubbed off on the students in a negative way. So communicating with your co-teacher in a positive manner, especially in front of the students, but also designing your learning, designing your planning, and just speaking positively outside the classroom with your co-teacher builds that respect that we talked about as a strategy earlier, and it also shows to the students that you can work together. And establishing communication systems. And what I mean by this strategy is, having a method of contacting your co-teacher. If the co-teacher doesn't want to talk after 8 p.m., respect that. If the co-teacher prefers to sit down for 30 minutes each day to discuss planning, work something out. Find the best way to communicate with your co-teacher. So, wrapping up and just thinking about the strategies we talked about, the methods we talked about, and how to communicate effectively. Think back, what ways are you effectively communicating with the people in your district? Whether you're at a large district and you're just focused on your grade level team, or how are you speaking with administration? Have you set up a communication method for contacting these people? I think about my coaches here at Houghton University Baseball. We have a communication system each week where we do meetings, and I also think about my teaching with substitute teaching at Fillmore, how we communicate with each other on what days and who we're going to cover. So thank you for listening to my PD presentation on collaboration and effective co-teaching strategies. Here's my reference page for the data that I drew from. Here's my sources, and just thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation.